Okay, so everyone should be able to see my presentation now. Let me know if there are any issues. So, hello everyone, my name is Jules. I'm one of the librarians at TCC. I'm going to be talking to you today about how to research a topic for the Undergraduate Research Symposium. So your presentation can come in a variety of styles. If you're here today, I think you're probably doing one of the more research-based ones. So you can have an oral presentation that comes with a paper or PowerPoint. You can also have a poster presentation. There will be templates available on the website. You may also do a performing arts or a visual arts presentation. I think you'd be working more with your faculty sponsor on that. So what I'm going to be talking to you today is how to do research and how to come up with a good topic. So your presentation should do one of the following. It should close gaps in the research and in your discipline, test an aspect of a theory, replicate an important study, retest a hypothesis with a new or improved methodology, resolve conflicts in the field, or create original research. So essentially, you're not just doing the kind of research papers that you've done in the past. You are coming up with something new, and that's going to further the conversation in your field of study. So your research topic should be something that's unique. It should present an original perspective, identify a gap of knowledge or problem in your field of study. This comes from some of the rubrics that are available on the Undergraduate Research Symposium website. We can take a quick look at the website where that stuff is so you can refer to it. So this should present some new information at the scholarly level. Your research topic in question should be specific, measurable, and something your study or your literature review is able to answer. So when you're coming up with a topic, consider what interests you about this topic, what questions do you have? So say if your topic was in the area of history and you were interested in Frederick Douglass, your poster or your presentation is not just going to be the life of Frederick Douglass and who he was and basic background information, because that's something that we already know. What you'd want to do is present a unique aspect of that. Maybe you care about his influence on Abraham Lincoln, or you care about his influence on later civil rights movements, or his thoughts specifically. You would, in that case, you'd want to look at some primary sources. You'd want to look at what's maybe some of his contemporaries said about him and really dive deep into the literature and present your own unique perspective. So it has to be something new, has to be something original. If you were doing a more STEM-based study, if you were doing something in biology, microbiology, something like that, you may want to find a study that you can duplicate. Maybe if you're interested in botany, you could look at the ways that some plants were grown and come up with a better way to see if you can come up with a different methodology, or see if you can replicate something that was done before in a particular study that interests you. So brainstorm, think about what topics interest you, what interests you about it, not just the topic in general. When you're developing a topic, this is an example of what it looks like. So say if we're interested in environmental science and your discipline is environmental science, or you were in environmental sciences class and you really like that class and you want your faculty sponsor to help you with that taught you in that class to help you with your undergraduate research symposium. And what you're specifically interested in the topic of environmental science, say you're really interested in climate change. Climate change is way too broad of a topic. We're not going to do your undergraduate research symposium on climate change. You need to get narrower and think, what in this great big topic of climate change am I interested in? What could I possibly research? So perhaps in the topic of climate change, you're not sure what you want and you have to do some preliminary research from there. Perhaps you know that what you're already interested in is rising sea levels, and you live in Florida, so you may be wondering what rising sea levels are going to do in Florida. So at this point, if you're not sure what you want your research question to be, you can do some preliminary research, You can start out, we will look at how to do library research, and you will need to use library resources for this. But at the very beginning, if you have no idea and you just kind of have a vague concept of what you may want your topic to be, you can go and you can just Google rising sea levels Florida, see what comes up, see what people are saying about it, what some of the complications are. So in a few minutes of Googling this as an example topic, if sea levels continue to rise at their current rates, Miami might be underwater. So perhaps you're interested in the most effective ways to mitigate rising sea levels in Miami over the next 50 years. And your research question might be, what are the most effective ways to mitigate rising sea levels in Miami over the next 50 years? You may revise your topic and question in the course of searching. So if you start out with this and you start doing some research and maybe you need to adjust this a little bit, you might want to look at something specific in this area, or you may change it for another effect of rising sea levels. Another thing I found in just a few minutes of Googling is that people with wells that get their water from wells in this area are already having issues because of rising sea levels getting salt water into their freshwater wells. So they have to be moved further inland. Maybe you want to look at the impact of rising sea levels on water quality in that area, and you can find enough information with that. You could look at other places that have done land reclamation like the Netherlands and say, investigate what was done in the Netherlands to stop rising sea levels or to reclaim land from the sea. And could that be done in Florida when sea levels start rising to prevent a portion of South Florida, including Miami, from being underwater? So you want your research question to be measurable. You want it to be specific. You want it to be something that your literature review / research study can actually answer. And if you need help with this, talk to your faculty advisor and the TCC librarians, including me. Definitely talk to your faculty advisor. You want to do that before you submit your abstract, which is the first thing you have to do for the undergraduate research symposium. There have been some students at the past that have just done that and have not talked to your faculty advisor. That's not a good thing to do. You need to talk to your faculty sponsor and talk to them about this. That's their role in this, is that they help you develop a topic and they help you get where you need to be. So here are some examples of focused questions versus non-focused questions. So you don't want to ask, here's another climate change example, what is the effect on the environment from global warming? Way too broad, way too many things. There are many different effects. You cannot cover all of them in your undergraduate research symposium. A more focused question based on this is, you could ask, what is the most significant effect of glacial melting on the lives of penguins in Antarctica? So this is very specific. It's something that you could find out with research. Instead of just asking, how are doctors addressing diabetes in the United States? Your question could be, what main environmental, behavioral, and genetic factors predict whether Americans will develop diabetes? And how can these commonalities be used to aid the medical community in prevention of the disease? So you can see here, your questions are not general questions about a topic. They're specific questions that focus on a unique aspect of a topic, because again, the purpose of the undergraduate research symposium is so you can participate in and further the scholarly conversation. So we've looked a little bit at research questions and research topics and how to develop that. So where are we going with this? What is our goal? First thing you have to do is you have to write you do your research topic first, you do your preliminary searching, but the first thing you're actually turning in is your abstract, which is a brief summary of your paper, project, or presentation that contains your main ideas, arguments, and conclusions. There is an abstract workshop on Wednesday 9th at 1 p.m. via Zoom. Same Zoom link as this session. So you should be getting, if you got an email for this one, you should be getting an email for that one as well. Just if we're talking about research and doing this undergraduate research symposium and a research topic, You should know what our goal is and what we are doing and what this is all going to look like at the end. So once you have your abstract, you're going to choose a presentation style. So one presentation you could do is a poster. I got this example from the Undergraduate Research Symposium website. There's different template examples you can use. This is just what one may look like. So you can see here, you would put your abstract here. And this is if you were conducting a study, if you were replicating a study or trying to tweak a previous study that had been conducted. You have your introduction here, you have your materials, your methodology, your results, and your conclusion, and you have any references or works cited that you can use. So you can see from this poster that even if you are doing something that's original, it is a research symposium and you do have to look at the existing literature and do your own research. So it doesn't have to be a poster. You could do a PowerPoint, you could do a paper with an oral presentation. So this is just what one presentation format may look like. And I wanted to pull it up because it has these various parts. Now we're going to take a look at a research article example. This is a research article from one of our library databases. We'll look at library databases in a little bit. Yours is not going to, this is a professionally published paper. It is a peer-reviewed journal article. Yours is not going to be this involved, so don't let it scare you. It's useful for seeing the parts of a research paper and the value of some of these parts. So we're going to follow this link. And here we have a link to an article. So to read this article, we're going to click PDF full text, and we're going to take a quick look at some of the parts of an article. And let me see if I can make this a little bigger so everyone can see it. So here we have our title, here we have our authors. This right here is the abstract or brief summary. So we can see a professionally published paper, peer-reviewed journal article, does have an abstract, a brief summary. It's very important. So whether you're doing something for your undergraduate research symposium now, or if you do go into a field where you're publishing in the future, you are going to have to write an abstract. After that, we have our introduction. And here we have a section called Theory and Literature. So this is talking about, this is background research. All of these are citations. Everything that's in blue in parentheses here, these are things that these authors read prior to conducting their study. So they are doing this, and after they get done with the literature review, they talk about their methods. They say, this is where this came from. This is some of the research that's already been done. This is some of the literature we consulted. In the future, this is what we, so then in response, this is what we did, and this is how we are furthering the scholarly conversation. So the literature review puts the study that they did in context. You have your method here, and they're talking about how they gathered their data. They called this findings instead of results, but that's essentially the same thing as results. At the end, usually have a discussion and a conclusion section. So again, yours will not be this long. It will not be this involved. And at the very end, we have references. Yours will not be this long. Yours will not be this involved. I was just pulling this up as an example to show that even if you are doing your own sort of study, if you're replicating something, you do have to do a literature review to put what you're doing in context. You also need to see what has already been done on this topic and make sure that what you are doing is actually unique. All right, so when you are doing a literature review, which is what that article did, let me make this full screen again. So when you're doing a literature review, as was seen in that article, that lets you see what others have done. So that's how you know your topic is unique. You can get ideas of how to narrow down or refine your topic. So say you start researching and you get ideas based on stuff you're reading about how to tweak your topic, take it in a different direction than maybe you initially anticipated. It explains existing research and how your presentation furthers scholarly conversation. So there will be a full workshop today with Learning Commons specialists at 1 o'clock. So I'm just giving you a brief idea of what that is and what you're going to be doing with your preliminary research. But there will be a more in-depth workshop on what that is, how it works, how to do a literature review, how to write a successful literature review at 1 o'clock today. And also in that workshop today, you will learn how to write an annotated bibliography. I'm just going to give you a quick preview of what that is. So annotated bibliography has two parts. It has a full citation in their citation style appropriate to your discipline. So if you're in the sciences, social sciences, health sciences, sometimes in business, you will be using APA. This stands for American Psychological Association. MLA, for the Modern Language Association, is typically used in English and humanities. Chicago or Turabian, which is just a light version of Chicago, is used in history. It's sometimes also used in business. So business can really use either one. And this is just very basic. This is something you may be working with your faculty sponsor on, or you may get to choose your citation style. And in that case, you can work with the library or with the Learning Commons to help with your citations. So after you have your citation, the second part of your annotated bibliography is your annotation. That's what makes it annotated bibliography, which is a summary of the source and relevance to your research. So templates are available. How this is supposed to look is available for APA and MLA, which are the two most common styles, on our library website. So tcc.fl.edu/library, or you can just Google TCC Library. If you get to the library website, you're doing the right thing. Under there, we have research guides and we have citation guides. And then you'll see APA or MLA, and you'll see your sample annotated bibliography for APA and MLA on those pages. So we do have those guides available for you. And again, there will be more information on what this is and what it looks like in the workshop at 1 o'clock today, which if you can't get to it, will also be recorded. So at this point, we're going to look at some resources on the library website. I did say that if you have no idea what you want to do for your topic and you're just trying to gather whatever background information, you can start out with Googling, see what you can find, get some ideas, but you will have to use library resources and you will have to do that through the library website. So you can also come in, we'll talk about how to get help in a minute. So I'm going to follow this link and that opens our TCC library. So right up here, we see search library resources. You can find some things through here, but this is a general search of all of our resources, both online and physical, so you may get an overwhelming amount. If we go here and say if we are searching climate change, we're going to get a lot of results for climate change. We're also going to get this topic overview here, but we're seeing we have like 2.5 million results, which is a lot. So what this catalog is good for, so this is the library catalog. I think it's best for finding books and ebooks. You can find articles and some other things here, but we have databases that are better for searching articles and are more focused. So what you can do is under resource type, you can say I'm interested in books. And this is limiting it only to books. And you can also say, I either want this available online or available on the shelf in the library, or this is important. This is something library resources do that Google often does not do, is especially if you have a topic that changes rapidly, like a science topic, you probably want to limit to the last 5 years. So we can do 2017 to 2022. And we can also go to advanced search, and you may want to limit this to title or subject. You can also limit by publication date here, and you can also limit by books here. So if we search, I'm going to have to put my date back in there again because I prefer to do it over here. This gets us down to a more manageable amount. You can also add another term here in any field or in a particular field. And you can see some are available online. Some may only be available in the library. See, try to find one of those so you can see the difference. Also, okay, so this one is saying that it's at the main campus, it's giving you a call number. You can walk into the library, show them this call number, and if it's on the shelf, they will help you find it. You can also sign in here, which if you're logged in with your email or Canvas or something in the same browser window, it will automatically redirect. And this lets you, and this would let you, if you hit request, this would let you pick up the book at the library service desk once they have time to go and pull it. So that's one service to be aware of. For these ones that say available online, you can click this link. This will take you here and it will say follow this link under where it says full text availability, and this will take you to the database that has the full text of this book. So that is how to use our catalog. I do really think it's best if you're doing a general search for books and ebooks. If you need more detail on your topic, you may have to look at some books. And that is the search bar that you see at the very top of the library page. That is where a lot of students start out. So you should know what it is and what it does. Other places to find sources, we have our A to Z databases page here. You can see that these are either sorted alphabetically or by subject. So if you were doing a history topic, you could skip down to history and you could look at these databases and say, maybe one or the other of these is useful for me. If you are interested in a particular person who's very well known, maybe you'd want to go to biography. If you're interested in one of the sciences, you might go here and take a look at these databases. So these are sorted for you to kind of try to help you narrow it down. So we're not just looking at this whole list of databases and scrolling through them and trying to figure out which ones you should or shouldn't use. And we'll look at, if we have time, I'll show you a couple of the databases, but for now I'm going to go back to the library website. We do also have some research guides. These are typically for classes. We do have our citation guides that I mentioned here. We have APA and we have MLA. So we have our sample annotated bibliography here. For MLA, we have our MLA annotated bibliography here. So those are available for you later when you need those resources. These guides are typically done per class, but they may have some useful information in them for you. So if you were interested, say, in a business topic, you can use maybe one of these guides. They'll have some books for you, have some selected databases. Or if you were interested in a psychology topic, and we have it, there we go. So if you're interested, say, in a psychology topic and you wanted to look at a psychology database, or maybe you were interested in this one, you can see the databases that are selected. There may even be some books and ebooks that are selected for you. So that's a way to use these research guides, even if you are not in one of these particular classes. Some of them do have some good general information that you can still use. So I did also want to look at our tutorials. That's right. So also on this research guides page, we have tutorials. And we have tutorials TCC library right here. So there's a lot of good information on here for you. If you are looking for books, say if you're looking to find a book and you want to know how to use that catalog that I just kind of gave you a crash course in, this tells you how to find a book, and it's also split out here so you can see different ways to find books in our catalog. We do also have a searching databases library resources tab here. We have an intro, we have general search tips. This is how to search our databases. This is different tools the databases have to make your life easier. Many of them generate citations for you that you do have to double check and make sure are correct. Many of them have a link where you can just email yourself either the article or a link back to it. And that's useful. That's useful. It's helpful to go through and know how to save stuff as you're going. We also have ones for specific databases here. So if you are using one of these databases and you're confused about how to search it, we do have a lot of, well, we have some of our databases here, and we have demo videos for how to search them and how to use them effectively. And we also have how to tell the difference between newspapers, magazines, and journals if you're trying to understand what the source types are that you're finding in our databases and what you're using. There are a few by class here that may not be as useful, although this one about locating statistics resources may be general enough that you could use. We do also have some videos here on citations. All right, so another thing that is on our library website are ways to get more help if you do need help after class. So if we go back to our library website, I'm just going to go ahead and show you that now. So if we're back on our library website, there are a few ways to get help if you need help from one of us. Two easiest ways to do that. One is ask a librarian. So use this email feature if you're trying to get help with the undergraduate research symposium. I'm just going to tell you that now. Use the email feature. The chat feature may go to one of us, but could potentially go to any librarian in the state of Florida. Use the email feature. Say you're doing the undergraduate research symposium, you need some help. Maybe you have questions about sources or citations or want to set up a time to meet. This is useful. This will go, as I said, may go to one of us if we're logged in. Could go to any librarian across the state of Florida. It's a really great service for general questions, but for something like this, you'd want to try to make sure you're getting in touch with one of us, and emails will always go to us. If you wanted to email one of us directly, we do have all of our contact information under this About Us right here. So you can see if someone says librarian, that is a librarian that you can contact. So this is me. And this is my email, jules.bailey@tcc.fl.edu. We also have an appointment scheduler. So if you know you need someone, you need to sit down with someone, you need us to go through the databases and our resources with you, we have an appointment scheduler here. I'm just going to do Zoom because we're all available via Zoom, and some of us are available at different locations. So if you did want to schedule one with me, say you want to do it for sometime next week, these are the times that I'm available. This would automatically check my calendar to see when I'm available and put something in there. Saves us some time emailing back and forth. So those are the ways to contact us. You can use Ask a Librarian. You can email us directly, preferably from your TCC email. And you can also schedule a research appointment. Right, so who you're going to be talking to if you do this, these are the librarians and our library director at TCC. What's listed here are liaison areas, so we do all have our own areas, but anyone can really help you with any subject. So don't think that because you're doing something in the humanities that this is the only person at the library that can ever help you. Any of us can help you, we just kind of have our special areas, and this may be someone that you'd want to talk to, might be someone that you want to try emailing and say, hey, do you have time to help me with this? So just so you know what our liaison areas are and how they work, and not that this is the only person that can ever help you with these particular areas. And these are the librarians and the library director that we have at TCC. So if you wanted to walk in and ask for help, you can do that at the second floor reference area. So this is the library on the main campus. It is the same building as the Learning Commons, but it's a separate entity from the Learning Commons. It's the other half of the building. This is up on the second floor, and these are the things they can help you with. And these are the hours. So you can walk in. We have part-time librarians up there too that can help you get started. If you need more help, they can go and get one of the full-time librarians or set you up with an appointment. So this should be useful for you if you do want to walk in and do something in person. We do offer that service. You're not limited to just virtual. Okay, so at this point, do we have any questions? If you use this QR code, this will take you to a page with just my contact info, so you could email me or schedule an appointment if that's what you'd like to do. And these are some links. We have our main library reference. We have our Gasvini library. That's over in the Healthcare Center by TMH. That's where I work most of the time. It's actually where I'm at right now. This is our Ask a Librarian email, and this is our appointment link. So if you want to, you can go ahead, take a screen cap of this slide. That's going to show you how to get in touch with some of us later. Okay, so we don't have any questions. We have about 9 minutes left. I am going to go back and show you maybe 1 or 2 databases just so you get the difference between this and catalog searching, because they are going to be different things. Yep,
I have a question real quick.
Sure.
If we had a research paper that we had previously written, are we allowed to use that and like revamp it to fit these categories? Like if I didn't have an annotated bibliography with it?
So you could use the same topic. You wouldn't want to use the exact same paper. You could even use some of the sources, but you'd be presenting something new. So you'd want to work with your faculty sponsor to revamp it and rework it in a way that's appropriate for the research symposium. But you should not just be resubmitting the exact same paper for sure. That's actually called self-plagiarism, so you could get in trouble for that. You'd want to work with your faculty sponsor.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so there's a couple of things that I'll show you real quick under our databases page. Is going to go to A to Z. So a couple general databases that can help you if you just need to narrow down your topic. One is called Opposing Viewpoints in Context. And this is sort of like a controversial issues or current events database. We have a couple others, but I'll just show you this one in the interest of time and hopefully not overwhelming you. Under Browse Issues here, we have a lot of issues. And you can click one of these and you can search within. So maybe if one of these topics interests you, like I'm sure there's climate change on here, you can go here, you can see what's available, you can see the different source types, and you can search within this topic. So if this is something you're vaguely interested in and you need to narrow it down, possibly this is something that could help you. Also, a good general database that's easy to start with and pretty easy to search is Academic Search Complete. So let's see if we're doing global warming and penguins. You run a search. So there's only 70 results here. I was trying to do one that wasn't too overwhelming, but you can narrow your publication date. You can limit to full text. That means you wouldn't have to interlibrary loan something. And there's also different source types limiters here. If we click show more, there's all of these different limiters that you can use. So that's some advantages of our library catalog and our library databases over Google. They let you narrow stuff down and get very focused and very specific. They also offer you a lot more access than stuff you're going to get for free. Okay, so we have some upcoming workshops. You should also have this in an email, but today there's a Zoom at 1 p.m. about creating literature review. Next Wednesday, there's writing an abstract, and there's some other ones coming up too. The symposium is on March 30th, I believe, right? Yep, okay. So at this point, do we have any questions? Anything that you wanted to know or wanted me to look or want to look at again? We have about 5 minutes left.